On the Browns front, may I say one more time, that was an incredible win. That was an incredible amount of fun. But I think one thing that was showcased on Sunday is just how much of a problem Joe Flacco's become for the Browns.
Yeah, the offense is basically, I mean, they were close to unwatchable. Like, there was 56 minutes of that game. And honestly, even the last minutes, like Daryl brought it up at 3:20, where it was like you had goal line to go, basically. You're on the 1 yard line, and you ended up with 3rd and goal from the 21. Like, they were bad to watch. It makes me want to tear my eyes out watching the Browns offense operate.
So I guess my thing is and it continues to be like a catch-22. When the offensive line does their job, Joe doesn't trust them. When Joe does his job, nobody can catch the ball, right? Like, the big glimmer of hope that you saw in this game was Quinshon Judkins had a breakout performance, and there does seem to be, from his side of things, he seems to be built for this level in a way that, I'll be honest with you, he's better than I expected at this point in his career. That said, you cannot let this, like, I can't believe they let Joe go out there in the second half. He was actively passing up big plays that were on the field that were there, and everybody notices the Isaiah Bond one because it was so obvious. There were plenty of plays where Joe did something out of lack of trust of the offensive line, lack of maybe fear of Micah Parsons, where even if you give him the credit for, like, well, okay, he had to check out of that because Micah was going to come unabated off the line, it's like, yes, and he checked on 3rd and 7 into at best was going to be a 2 or 3 yard run by Dylan Sampson. So they should have benched him yesterday. And I'm not here to say that Dylan Gabriel is the second coming. I think everybody listening knows how I feel about Dylan Gabriel. But I think one of the bigger problems that we haven't addressed is, let's just be real clear here. I said this on Friday. I said it multiple times last week. I've said it since the Cincinnati game. They're not running an offense for Joe Flacco. They're not. There's not a lot of opportunities deep down the field. His style of play is not being represented in what he likes to do. As a matter of fact, he's being asked to hold it in and rein it in and don't make mistakes. And he's making decisions in terms of audibles in that name. He's keeping it conservative in that name. That's in his head. And he doesn't trust the offensive line. And you've got this, that, and the other. And oh, by the way, physically, he looks washed. He looks like he can't move. And you cannot have an immobile quarterback that is bypassing big plays down the field when he actually does get them, not trusting his offensive line, and he can't move. So the things that I think Dylan Gabriel could do better or more effectively, one, this is built for him. It's the short passing game. It's get the ball out quickly, which can negate the offensive line issue. Two, if the read isn't there, he can move. So while I am not here to tell you that I think long-term, I think Dylan Gabriel has this immense ability to change the scope of where you're going to go with this, Daryl in the previous segment, at 3:20 when we interviewed him, said that he believes going to Dylan Gabriel represents evaluation, and he said, how can you sell that to the locker room? And then he says, Joe gives you the best chance to win. Every one of those things is a generality. Every one of those things are the things that why Dylan couldn't have started week 1. We're now going on to week 4. And I have a sinking suspicion that if you had put Dylan Gabriel in the second half, even against that very loaded Green Bay defense, I don't know you need the final 4 minutes to win that game. I think you might have been more competitive throughout the second half.
Nick, I said it on Tuesday leading into this game. I was already done with Joe. And it wasn't even necessarily a direct product of what Joe's done, because I think I agree with most of what you just said, right? Like, I think he's washed physically. I think the offense is built for a guy more like Dylan Gabriel, less like Joe. But sure, you don't trust the offensive line, and I'll be honest, they haven't given you a ton of reason to trust the offensive line. Like, they have been bad so far. It's also, okay, well, the main reason you were holding on was, well, the run game hasn't been good, and if Joe's going to be successful in the pass game, it has to come off the run game, because they love play action, bootleg, and you have to be committed to stopping the run if that's actually going to work. The run game worked on Sunday, and Joe still looked bad. Like, it still did not stop anything, whether it was the Packers defense or whether, you play the Dolphins defense coming up a week, which is just Swiss cheese. It's like, it still does not work when you're able to run the ball. The Browns trying to win games. Like, I just disagree flat out with what Daryl said, where it's Joe gives you a better chance to win. I think Joe's the better quarterback. Talent-wise, Joe is the better quarterback. I think in this offense, everything that they want to do, Dylan pretty much does better than Joe or does on the same level as Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I think even like in terms of reads, like no one's saying Joe Flacco can't read a defense.
No.
But Joe's getting through 3 reads when he just needs to get the damn ball out quickly. And I think Joe is holding onto the ball longer because he's looking for those big plays, which makes it even more confounding when then again he turns around and bails on a play quickly. Again, like I just think like what the Browns want to do in this offense isn't what Joe's comfortable doing, and then you put him behind an offensive line that isn't playing well enough. Like I was flabbergasted when Stefanski said today we're sticking with Flacco, and I understand why. I do understand why you say it yesterday, and I even understand the idea of sticking with him momentarily. But the idea that they went in, and there was a report of the weekend that that Stefanski and Tommy Rees had a whole conversation early last week about benching Joe. I don't know how that other than you won. And you won through no help. I don't say no help because Joe, he really managed the team going up to the line. He told, I think it was Harold Fannin Jr., he had to get on the line. Awesome. Cool. Great. You know what he didn't do? Make enough throws to win that damn game.
Like, I think if you look at the final play, right, where they have to get up to the line, they have to spike the ball, where you have minimal time to do it. Does Dylan Gabriel get that play off? I don't know. Like, I truthfully don't. That's a veteran quarterback in Joe getting everybody situated, knowing what they need to do. I don't know Dylan Gabriel can do that. I again agree with you, though. I don't know that you're in that situation if Joe's not the quarterback. Like, right now, this team needs a spark on the offensive side. They need something. Even if that's just a change at quarterback, even if, Dylan's not going to go out there and wow anybody, which I don't think that he is. That's not the type of quarterback he is. Any sort of change. Like, you can ask the question, right? What is putting Dylan Gabriel in do, and what does that say to the locker room? What does keeping Joe Flacco in say to the locker room right now?
Yeah, because to go back to the idea of who gives who the best chance to win, do you think those guys, after 3 weeks, do you really think that they think Joe gives them a chance to win? Not who gives you more of a chance to win. Do they think Joe gives them a chance to win? Not do they like Joe? Not, do they view him as a mentor? Not like, I don't know how you can say yes. You won in spite of your quarterback, and you won in spite of your quarterback in a way that, listen, I think you're going to have to win in spite of Dylan Gabriel as well because of the youth, because of his physical limitations. But what he does well is set up for this offense. What Joe does well is not. And it's apparent Joe is not feeling the confidence, the trust, whatever you think that he needs to, and it feels far-fetched to say that's just going to come one of these days.
Yeah, like I go back to what Coach Lance Reisland always says, right? There's quarterbacks you can win with, and there's quarterbacks you can win because of. I don't think either of the two quarterbacks are quarterbacks you win because of. I do think, though, like as much as I don't trust Dylan in the long term, I truthfully do look at him as a quarterback that if you're asking him to be a game manager, ask him to complete the short throws and move the offense in a quick operation, that's all he's done in his career. Like, it has to translate to the NFL level. We've seen it in preseason games, even when it hasn't been great and it hasn't been the prettiest thing in the world. He's gotten the offense moving. He's made sure he's made the short throws and has cut the disastrous turnovers down to 1. Like, there's going to be those. Those are also there with Joe.
Listen, I understand the value of the operational stuff with Joe Flacco. That doesn't, and I think it might for the Browns, but it shouldn't outweigh making plays. Like hitting the open receiver. And I understand the offensive line, specifically the tackles, are in a bad spot. How do you negate having a bad tackle situation? Have a quarterback who get the damn ball out quicker.
Yeah, I mean, we sit here and it's like people throw out, well, Joe gives them the best chance to win. How much better is it going to be with a rookie quarterback, if not worse? It's like, how does it get much worse? You've put up the scores of 16, 17, and 13, and the offense hasn't looked good while they've done it, and they've had to be set up by the defense. In the one win, they've gotten to put up 13 points.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be much. We have to stop acting like Joe Flacco is, well, he's doing everything right, and everything's failing around him. I'm not saying everything's great around him, but he's also making his own mistakes as well.
Yeah, and the kind of mistakes, to me, they're the kind of mistakes that hold back a team. And it's when you don't trust your offensive line. He shouldn't, by the way. But you have to think past that if you're a quarterback. it is not playing within yourself. He's not. He's passing up passes, or sorry, he's foregoing passes we saw him make with ease 2 years ago. And so that's the kind of stuff that the only way that gets done, guys, is by playing for the next 4 or 5 weeks and having something change. Well, what's easier to change? All your offensive tackles or a 40-year-old quarterback you didn't intend to play for the full season anyways? Like, we are getting awfully close to, if you don't hand this off to Joe at the right time, you're going to cost yourself more wins and maybe put that rookie in a worse position. And I really think, like, right now, they've got a team that's fighting for every victory, that believes they can win. If you don't believe in your quarterback, that's the fastest way to stop believing that you can win.
It feels like to me like they're operating this entire situation with like kid gloves basically for Dylan Gabriel. Like, we've talked to you about the computer processing power and how great he can read a team, where if we throw him out against a Packers defense, or I don't think the Lions defense is that great, but like Aiden Hutchinson's on the other side, he's going to pressure the quarterback, he's going to force Dylan into quick throws, probably even quicker than he wants to make, where if Dylan comes out and looks bad, well, they don't look so smart. And in that exact given week, you might hurt his confidence. But again, if the season is truly about winning, you can't tell me you've watched the offense operate for 3 weeks and think, this is getting much better and this is going to lead to wins.
Yeah,
like,
the first box you have to check is, does the offense give you a chance to win? And you cannot say, well, okay, actually, no. Does the quarterback give you a chance to win? You can't say that with Joe yesterday. You sure can't say that with Joe 2 weeks ago. And I get this sense that the idea is, well, but it's just such a tough game. It's just such a tough game. Once you're in the middle of the game, nobody's thinking about that. All anyone's thinking is, are we having any sort of success? So maybe Kevin was right to say, well, going into Detroit, we're not. But yeah, Kevin already missed the easiest opportunity to see what Dylan had. Even if it was in the third quarter, once you got to the fourth quarter, it felt like it was 100-10. Or sorry, 100-0, not 10-0. And Kevin got lucky. Joe got lucky. They won that game because the defense made a timely play and then special teams cleaned it up. But the other part of this that I'm starting to feel comfortable with a rookie, be it Dylan, be it Shador. We know it's going to be Dylan first, but I'd feel comfortable go to either rookie in the near future. Is I think you've stumbled upon how you're going to win with Quinshon Judkins. I think that engine is getting closer and closer, and now to make sure opposing defenses don't shut him down, you just need to make a bare amount of plays. And by the way, it's not just down the field plays, although those help. No, just have these long, successful drives that when you need a throw, your quarterback can make them. And Joe he had a couple misses yesterday. They were telling you he's not feeling what he needs to feel to get anything done. Yeah,
the one that sticks out is obviously the Isaiah Bond miss on, I think it was third down, where he's wide open, still overthrows him. Like, he had to layer the throw, but it was still, Joe Flacco makes that throw, 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, if we're not talking about this year. I've seen him make that throw 20 times probably in a Browns uniform. Like, you can make those. It's just, okay, so if you're not going to do it this week, and Kevin and all them are saying it's still Joe, you're going back to Joe Flacco for this week, it's like, if you're playing the protection game, in my eyes, if you're protecting Dylan Gabriel, like, by the time you feel like he's in a good position to actually start, your season might just be over anyway, and it might feel more like you're waving the white flag than if you did it now. Like, are you going to start him going into London off of a time change, playing what is still a good Vikings defense, or for the first time in a Browns uniform going into Pittsburgh? And then again, by week 7, if this team walks out 1-5, your chances on the season, even your chances on going in, putting 7 wins on the board and inspiring confidence for next year, feel really low.